Some of you are probably already experts in Microsoft Excel. Just about all of these computational programs like Excel work in very similar ways. If you got something like Quattro or one of the others that comes from a different software company, well, you just have to figure it out, but they all function about the same. We're going to look very quickly at how to set up your Microsoft Excel so you get the data analysis tool pack activated. Um, there is a PowerPoint that's available in the week 8 assignments on how to set this up, but sometimes it's useful just to see it. And I could send out those little things, with the pictures of the screen, but I think this will work just as fine. Now, I've got Office 2007. Office 1997 to 2003 works very similarly. In fact, the Excel is basically the same, but how do you get to places differs, of course. So let's take a look at how we'll set up the data analysis tool pack. The first thing you do is you click on that big circle in the upper left-hand corner, and you come down to the bottom of the window that opens to what's called Excel Options. Excel Options, right there. You click on Excel Options, and you go on the left side to where you see add-ins. Now, the screen here, this screen will show you what add-ins are already functioning on your program. And if there's one that you see that you're after and it's not there, you come down to the bottom where it says Manage Excel Add-ins. Manage Excel Add-ins, and you just go. And this is the same screen or same window that you'll see from Microsoft Office 2003 or earlier, except there you find add-ins from one of the menus at the menu bar at the top. And when you find the one that says add-ins, it will get you to this screen. It will show you what add-ins are there. I simply select Analysis Tool Pack and Analysis Tool Pack VBA, and then you just make sure the boxes are checked there. These others, I don't find much of use. They have very specialized functions, but you really won't need those for this course, and I haven't found any need for them at all. But you click OK, and it'll go through the process of activating these programs which already exist in your Excel. Now, once you get those programs activated, you can then take data, and what I have here is our little data set called Baseball 2006, and this is one you'll be playing with. And I just want to show you how to do some very quick descriptive statistics very quickly. This column here is the batting average for the various teams. And what I want to do is I want to find out some descriptive statistics for the batting average of my 30 Major League Baseball teams. So what I do is I come up here, let's see, at the top, data, right there, data. I click on data, and over on the far right, I'll see data analysis. That tells me that, first of all, my analysis tool pack is active and ready to go. I click on data analysis, and it gives me all these statistical things I can do. For example, let's say I just want the basic descriptive statistics for this particular set of data. I highlight it, I click OK, and it opens a window that asks me for some information. Now, over on the right side of this window, right there where I put the cursor, there's a little icon. If I click on that icon, it then allows me to come and select a particular bunch of data. And in this case, I'm going to scroll, click on the first data entry and go all the way down to the bottom one. And I then click the icon again, and it enters in those cells. Now, please note that I selected labels. I selected so that my first data entry that was selected was the label of the column. Well, that's a pretty handy thing to have, because then when the results come out, the label will be there and I won't have to worry, well, what is it? If you have data without a label, then you leave that block unchecked. Now, I want to put this on this particular screen. So I again click on the icon. I'm going to output range, and I'm going to scroll off to the side here, say at that point, and just click in that box, and that means that my output data is going to appear in this region, starting with that as the upper left cell. Again, click on the icon. I'm back to my thing, and I want summary statistics. Summary statistics. When I click OK, bingo. Here's what I get. I get the summary statistics for that column of data, column X9, which we know was the batting average. I determined that the mean batting average for these teams is .26927. Okay, that's the mean batting average. I know that the median batting average is .269, and I also know that the mode is .269, which tells me that it's the one that has the most frequent number. .269 must show up at least twice to be the mode. I have the standard deviation of .00895, the variance of, oh, that's a very small variance, 8 times 10 to the minus 5 in scientific notation. A couple of interesting things. One is kurtosis, which is a measure of how closely this set of data is to a normal distribution. We see that it's a negative .73. That means it's flatter than normal distribution. If it were 0, if kurtosis was 0, this data that I had analyzed would be completely normally distributed. The so-called bell-shaped curve. You'll learn to love that one. The skewness tells me whether it's going left or right. Here the skewness is .24 positive, which means the data is skewed to the right, or the tail of it is more to the right than to the left. It gives me the range from the highest to the lowest, .032, maximum value .255, minimum .255, max .287, and it gives me that I've got 30. So that's basically what descriptive statistics is, and it's actually a pretty good tool. It does all these equations that we see from chapter 3, such as here we have the sample mean. It does that very quickly. It does the range. It does the variance, the standard deviation, and so forth. It does that very quickly, which I like. I like it when we can get away from the tedium of the computation so we can actually get to the measurement. Okay, one more thing that we can do. Let's say we go back to data analysis, and we want to do a correlation. So we're going to do a correlation between two data sets, and the data sets we're going to do are, well, let's just pick X9 and X10 and see if there's any correlation between those two. So the correlation, again, I click on my little icon, I select the data, I have labels in the front row, and I'm going to again put my output here on this same page, okay, and we're going to click OK. Now, what we see then is that the correlation between data X9 and X10 is a minus .1054. Well, you can look at statistics books and you say, well, that means there's not much correlation. And what correlation exists means that if batting average goes up, this value, whatever X10 is, goes down. Oh, X10, earned run average. No correlation between earned run average and batting average, or very weak correlation. Strong correlation would have a value of 1. And when you do this yourself, you'll see that, well, the correlation of X9 to itself is 1. Perfect correlation. That's a quick way to do correlation. So you can take a look at all these things, and you'll find that Excel, if you put the data in correctly, can give you all sorts of wonderful items, including constructing a histogram. which is another one of the things you'll be asked to do in class. So histograms, yeah, you got to do some data bins and all that, but we'll let you figure that out. It's always good to struggle and figure things out. So that's your quick tour of Excel, your quick tour of getting your data analysis tool pack set up, and some of the quick ways to find out some of the statistics so that you can then begin to analyze the various items. You'll get to play with this baseball statistics from 2006 in many ways. I do recommend that whenever you have an Excel file and you start playing with it, be careful that you don't corrupt your original file. I would usually, if I had data I didn't want to mess with, I would save the file and then open it and then save it as some other file like baseball for problem chapter 3.1, and just rename it so that I have the original file data still there in case I sort of make a mistake. You'll be asked to do things like sorting data. We'll cancel that out. And when you sort data, you got to make sure that in something like this, if you're going to sort data, and let's say I want to sort it alphabetically by team, I want to make sure I select all the data before I sort. And I come up here and I go to data and sort, and it will ask me sort by X1 and sort it on whatever it is, and the order A to Z. That means from A to Z. If I click that, now it'll put Arizona first, Washington last, but it'll keep all these data rows still associated with the team it started with. If I had only selected the column of names and sorted, the rest of this data here would have stayed right where it was, and then the names of the teams would have been messed up, and it would have gotten the alignment all out of whack. So, just a couple of little tricks to play with. Play with Excel. It's a great tool. It can mess you up if you lose track of where you're going. But hey, if you're going for this MBA, developing your skills with Excel is also one of those very important things. Thanks.